Okay, I think we're going to get started. So welcome once again to GS182. This is your introductory biology. My name is Vincent Wong, and you probably received an email from me earlier last week, I think. Just giving you some information about the course. But in case you've missed that, please do check your email. But I'm going to go through the expectation of the course with you today. And how the structure of the course is going to be like. I'm going to talk a little bit about the assessment, what kind of questions you would expect on the test, and we will also talk about the labs. Okay, so this is your course homepage, and I hope you have had a chance to access that. It's on eCentennial. And for those of you who are new to the college, eCentennial is our online learning management system, and it's how your teacher communicates with you regarding the lecture materials, for example. And since this is an online course, this is also the location where you will be doing your quizzes, your tests, and submitting assignments as well. So like I said, if you have not already, please take a moment to take a look after class. I've also just enabled closed captioning in case you need that to be turned on. Sometimes I do talk a little bit fast, students find that. So with the caption, it probably will help. Also, everything that goes on in these Zoom meeting will be recorded and be posted online after class. So, sometimes if you miss a session, or if you just want to go revisit some of the ideas that we talked about in the class, you will be able to do that by looking at the recordings. Okay. So this is, like I said, the course homepage, and over here you will see news. That's basically where I'll be posting announcements. And for really important ones, I will also be sending out emails. So please be sure to check your college email regularly. I think there is an option of forwarding the your college email to your personal email if that's more convenient for you. Now, the best way to reach me is by emailing me at this address. Okay, so you can find it right here. And it's also posted on the first slide of all the PowerPoint slides for the course. Okay, I am really quick with replying email. If you don't hear back from me for more than a day, it probably means that I did not get your email. Okay, so you just have to send again, and I'll be sure to answer you. Okay, when you email me, it's very important you tell me which class you are from, because I do have different courses that I'm teaching and different sections as well. So you want to tell me that you are from the online biology course, okay, online GS182. That way, let's say you ask me, what chapters are covered on the test. If you don't tell me what course you're from, I don't know which information to give you, right? So that delays the response. But if you tell me you're from online biology course, then I know, to give you the right information. Okay, so in terms of the structure of the course, what you want to do is you want to go and download a copy of the weekly schedule. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And so here is your weekly schedule. And I know some of you might not have access to the course homepage yet because you enrolled in course late. But that should be resolved, latest by tomorrow. If you have any problems with it, feel free to email me. So download your weekly schedule, and there is actually a download button where you can put it onto your desktop. I am gonna zoom in here a little bit to see. It will be better. Okay, there we go. So today we are doing the orientation. I'm not actually doing any teaching today. I'm just going through like I said, basic information about courses with you. And actually, how the lesson's supposed to go is I've already recorded lecture recordings for all the topics. Okay, so what you are supposed to do on the Mondays of the class is to watch the recordings on your own. Okay, so like, I mean, you don't necessarily have to watch it on Monday. Like you could watch it over the weekend or whatever is convenient for you. But it's important that you watch all the recordings before you attend Wednesday's class. Okay, so generally Monday is reserved for asynchronous learning. That's when you watch the lecture recordings on your own. And then Wednesday is when you will attend the Zoom meeting, the synchronous tutorial, and then we will go through the study guide together. Okay. And sometimes we will have the synchronous session switch to like a Monday, like for here, right, where we'll be doing like a test review, and then you will do the test asynchronously on Wednesday. Okay, but for the most part, the synchronous session, the one that you come attend live, is going to be on a Wednesday. And you know what? If you're confused about when to come to class, when not to come to class, just download the weekly schedule and see it. Okay, so every time there is like a red session, it means you should be coming to the Zoom meeting. Does that make sense? Anyone have any question? Tamara, I saw you unmute. Do you have a question or?
It's fine.
Okay. And Victoria, you have a question?
No. You said it was okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, thank you. All right. So where do you find the recordings, right? If you go to content, lectures, right? So all the lectures are actually posted already. It tends to be less busy at the beginning of the semester. So if you want to move ahead of the schedule, because you have more free time now, you're more than welcome to do so. Okay, everything is already posted. But for this week, right, you will be doing lecture 1. And you can see in the lecture 1 folder, there are lecture recordings, study resources, and supplementary reading. So if you click on lecture recordings, right, you will have the PowerPoint slides. Okay, so that's something that you have to download. And if you have a printer at home, you might want to print that as well. And you should have that while you're watching the recordings. Okay, so if you click on the lecture recordings part 1 here, it would basically take you to the YouTube link. And it's the PowerPoint slides that I prepared for you. And you just have to watch this thing. Okay. And of course, as I'm explaining things, sometimes I would write additional notes. So that's why it's important for you to have the PowerPoints print out in front of you, right? So you can write out whatever information I give you as well. Now, also, let's just move on to like a second part here. Second part over here. And you don't really have to watch it in one sitting, right? Like if it's too much, then you can break it down and watch it, on several days. But the important thing is to finish watching everything before you come to the tutorial. Okay, so sometimes I would switch to the study guide, and then I would be doing some of these questions with you as part of the lecture. Okay, so that's why you need to have both the PowerPoint slides with you, as well as the study guides. Okay, so you can see here, lecture 1 has 3 parts to it: part 1, part 2, and part 3. And then sometimes it would give you the link to the study guide. But you can also find a study guide under study resources. So if you go to study resources, that's the study guide. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like. So there are questions that are related to the lecture recordings, right? You can also find these answers in the PowerPoint slides. But that's what we will be doing on the synchronous class, on the Wednesday's class. Okay, so I will I will, for example, have this, and then we'll fill it in together. Okay, and then I will make some comments and write extra notes for things that are particularly difficult for some people, and then I will elaborate on those things. Okay, so you watch it, you do as much as you can, and then you bring this thing to Wednesday's class, and then we will finish it together. During the Wednesday's class, we will also be doing some practice questions. So these questions would be preparing you for the quiz and for the tests that you have to take. So in terms of the class structure, do you guys understand what you have to do? Anybody have any questions? Okay, so like I said, right, Monday you watch stuff on your own, and I'll post a link on the news item to let you know what you should be watching that week. And then Wednesday you come online, and then we take up the study guides together. Okay.
Sir?
Yes. Go ahead.
Would the quizzes and the questions be timed?
Yes. So I'm gonna that's the next thing I'm gonna talk about. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just hang on there. All right. Now, what does the evaluation look like for the course? Well, the course is separated into 2 parts. Okay, 2 parts. So part one will be lecture 1 to lecture 5. Yeah, lecture 1 to lecture 5. And in part 1, you will have 2 quizzes. So quiz 1 will be lecture 1 and a little bit of lecture 2. I'll tell you which part to include. And then quiz number 2 is going to be lecture 3 to lecture 4. And then you will have a test 1, which is lecture 1 all the way to lecture 5. Right, so this is 10%, 10%, and the test will be 20%. Okay. And there will also be a 10% lab. Now, before you ask me if you need to go to the college to do the lab, no, the lab will be done virtually, and I'll give you more information on that later. Okay, so that's part 1. Part 2 of the course will be lecture 6 to lecture 10. You will have 10% quiz again. That's quiz number 3 for lecture 6 and 7. 10% quiz number 4. Lecture 8 to lecture 9, and then 20% test 2, that's lecture 6 to lecture 10, and another 10% lab. Okay, so that's where your marks are going to be. It is going to be 50% for the first half and 50% for the second half. I mean, the good news is it's not cumulative. So everything that you learn in the first part after the test, you will not need to restudy for them in the second part. Any question about the breakdown before I tell you what is on the quiz and test?
Sorry, can you please clarify more about part 1?
Clarify more about part 1?
Part 1, yes, please.
In what regards?
About the 10%, 10%, 20.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the quiz, right? Each quiz is worth 10% of your final grade. That's what I meant, right? So in total, there are 4 quizzes. 4 quizzes. So that would be 4 times 10%, and that makes up a total of 40% of your final grade, right? 2 tests in total, each worth 20%. So that would make up another 40% of your final grade, and then 2 labs, which would be 2 times 10%. That would be 20. And if you add them up, that would be a total of 100% of all your grades.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. And the labs will be online or in
Yes,
person?
online. Yeah, I'll explain that as well in a bit. Okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So we good? Everyone else okay? Again, just ask if you have any questions. No other problem. All right. So you probably wonder, how are we going to do the quiz? When are we going to do it? And how much time you have and so on and so forth. I will give you the exact time when we get closer to the test day and quiz day, but generally speaking, a quiz would be like 40 minutes, plus or minus. And then a test would be maybe like 70 minutes. Okay, so this is roughly 40 minutes, and the test would be roughly 70 minutes. Now, the evaluation, yep, go ahead.
If you finish before the 40 minutes, can you submit your work?
Yeah, of course. If you finish early,
All right.
feel free to submit it, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, now the quizzes and the tests, they will be available from 6 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. So like midnight, right? Basically, on the day of the evaluation. Okay. So if you go back to the weekly schedule, right? Again, that's very important that you have a copy of that. Go back to the weekly schedule. It will show you that your first quiz, the 10% one, it's on lecture 1 and lecture 2, and that is going to be on January 23rd. So on January 23rd, you will have to do your synchronous learning, or like I said, right, like you can do it over the weekend or whatever, doesn't matter as long as you do it before coming to Wednesday's class. And you will have to take the quiz. So on the Monday, the quiz will be available from 6 a.m., like I said, to 11:59 p.m. And you will do it on eCentennial, okay? I will post a link on eCentennial later on to show you how it's done. I will also let you practice a little bit first before you do the actual quiz, so you're familiar with how the online system works. But basically, once you start, you cannot close the browser and finish it at a later time. Okay, if you close the browser, the timer will continue to count down. Okay, so let's say you start at like 8 a.m. Okay, and then I said you have like 40 minutes to do a quiz, right? So you cannot do 10 questions and then close the browser and come back later at like 5 p.m. to do it, because by then your time would run out, right? Okay, so it's very important that you find a time and a space where you will not be interrupted, okay, for at least 40 minutes, because then you want to be able to finish it at a time, right? Now, I am a pretty understanding person. So if you tell me, your internet connection got cut or whatever during your quiz, it's okay. You can just let me know, and then I can just reopen it for you at a later time. Okay, so that's usually not a problem. If you're sick, if you miss the quiz for other legitimate reason, as long as you tell me ahead of time, then usually I'm able to accommodate you. Okay, so like, don't freak out if your computer die halfway or something. Now, I do get a little bit suspicious if every time you do a quiz your computer died out, right? Okay, so make sure that when you're requesting for these kind of accommodations, it is actually a legitimate reason. And that's basically it. Okay, so you would do these quizzes on the specified date on the weekly schedule. And it will be available from, like I said, 6 a.m. to all the way to midnight. Because I know some of you might work, right? And some of you might have to take care of your kids or whatever. And that's okay. So that's why the window is really, really big. Is that all right? Any question?
Yes. So the first test will be on February, right?
The first test, yeah, February.
20.
No, the first test will be March 1st. Test,
March.
right? You're talking about test, right? The first
quiz.
quiz will be 23rd.
23rd. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
you can see it. Yeah, and I will post announcement, right? To let you guys know. I will tell you exactly how many questions there are and all the information that you need to know. No point of me posting them now, because you're probably just gonna forget about it and not know where to find it. So I'll post it as we get closer to the testing. Now, what is expected on the quiz? There will be multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions. These are standard questions that test your knowledge. There will be application questions. where you have to apply what you've learned in a scenario, right, in a case study, but it will still be in the format of multiple choice. There will be some multi-select question. Okay, multi-select questions are questions that have more than one correct answer. Okay, more than one correct answer. Okay, so in order to get full marks, you will have to choose all the correct ones. Okay, and there will be penalty for choosing the wrong ones. Okay, so these ones are out of 2 marks. These ones are like 1 mark each. And then there will be some short answers.
Sir?
Yeah, 1 second, please. Short answer questions. Okay, so these ones you have to type some response to the question. Yeah, go ahead, Francisca.
Let's say we have multiple answers and you choose one and you left one. Will you get a half mark or you can mark that?
Yeah, I understand your question. It's difficult for me to explain how the math calculation works for the multi-select. Because it depends on the question and it depends on how many choices there are. I'd rather not go into the math right now. But if you're really interested in knowing how the multi-select questions are calculated, you can send me an email and I'll be happy to explain it. Because if I explain now, it's just gonna take 5-10 minutes, and some people might get lost. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Someone else had a question. I think I saw someone else unmute. Okay, maybe not then. So that's it. Okay, that's what's expected on the quiz and on the test. And like I said, you will get more information when we get closer to the test dates. Now, if you have like an ISP, if you need accommodation for testing, you need to contact our Center for Accessibility Learning and Counseling. They are called CALS, and you have to book an appointment to get assessed and send me the documentation before I can provide you with accommodations. Okay, now if you never had accommodations before and you just want to have more information about it, you can also contact them. I'll post a link to the news item after class, and then you will be able to get more information from the link. Okay, so this is for students who needs accommodation, like extra time for the test. Okay. If you need more information, you can check out the link I post, or you can email me for more information as well. So that is pretty much it for the assessment. Any other questions before I move on? Okay. So other things that are available to you, let's go back to the content. Like I said, this is being recorded, right? So if you forget where things are, if you don't know where to click, just watch the video again. It should be okay. If you go to the lecture, okay, again, we're doing lecture 1. I already show you the lecture recordings. You can also click on the study resources. Okay, so that's the study guide that you need to download and preferably print out and work on, and then bring it to class on Wednesday where we take it up. There are also additional video resources. So if you click on that, it will take you to what's called like a Padlet. Okay, so this is basically a collection of videos that I found on the internet. Like sometimes student likes to go on the internet, go on YouTube and search up videos and watch them. Okay, so I just save you the time of doing that. Okay, I've collected a bunch of videos that are relevant to the lecture, and you can leave comments about them if you want to. And sometimes it's just useful to listen to someone else explain the concept, right? Someone else other than your teacher, right? And that's what these video resources are for. Okay, but sometimes they do explain things in a little bit more detail than we do. So any additional information that are covered in the videos here, you're not responsible for. You're only responsible for in terms of the test, right? You're only responsible for the PowerPoint slides, the study guides, and everything that's covered in the tutorial. Okay, all these extra informations are for your reference only. If you go back to study resources, you will also see some crosswords here. Those are excellent for memorizing some of the terms, learning some of the terminologies. You can try that out. And there are self-quizzes that you should definitely take a look. They don't count for anything. They're just formative. And the questions not necessarily the same as the ones on the quiz or test, okay, but it would give you an idea of where you stand. These tends to be a little bit easier compared to the actual quiz and test, but nevertheless, they are a good starting point. I'm just going to show you how it looks like. If you click on it, oh, actually, I cannot take the quiz because I am the teacher. Let me switch to student mode and see if it works out. Okay, so again, content, study resources, and here is the quiz. And you can do it as many times as you like, unlimited time, right? And then you start. And that's how it's going to be like for the actual test and actual quiz you'll be taking. That will be the question, and then these will be the answers. Except for the actual quiz and actual test, you will get one question per page, and the questions that you get is not necessarily the same question as your classmate, because these are taken from like really big pools of questions, and they're all randomized, okay, to minimize like cheating and stuff like that. But this would give you an idea of how the platform works and how to do the quiz online. So make sure you have a chance to look through them. And these are some of the example of multi-select question, right? So not only do you choose one answer, you have to choose all the correct answers like that. Okay, so it's good practice. Okay. Another common question that I get is like you might hear something else later on in your other course, something called like a lockdown browser. Does anybody know what that is? Have you guys heard of this? Just wondering. Am I the first class of the week for you guys? Did you guys have another class?
Yes, we have math test.
Oh, you have math test. Okay, so I think they do use the lockdown browser in math, right? Is that correct? Did they talk about that yet?
No, not
No?
yet.
Okay, maybe they don't use it. I don't know. Okay. The point, Albana is your teacher, right? I think. Yeah. Anyway, so lockdown browser, you might hear about that later on in some courses. Okay, that like literally lock down your browser when you're doing the when you're doing the online assessment, so you cannot open like Google or whatever internet browser. Okay, so we will not be using that. Okay, because usually I get a lot of emails about that. Once they've heard about this thing in other courses, they would ask if we're doing it in bio. We are not. Okay. And another thing people ask me is like, is it an open book test? Okay. So the answer is a little bit tricky. You are welcome to use the notes. Okay, you can use your notes. There's no way for me to stop you. Even if I tell you not to use your notes, some people might still use it. So I'm just gonna say it out loud. You can use your note. You are allowed to use your notes. Okay, and in fact, I encourage students to write like a reference sheet for like very difficult things, so they can quickly look things up if they need to. Okay, but I have to emphasize that the quiz and the test, they are created in a way that even if you have your notes in front of you, it's not going to give you a huge advantage if you don't study. Okay. Some people think if they have the notes in front of them, then they can just look up the answer if they don't know something, right? Looking up answer takes time, and you don't have a lot of time on the quiz and on the test, right? So if you don't study and just rely on your notes, you will guarantee not do well in the course. Okay, but if you do your regular studying as if you are going to school to write the test, and then you have some notes on the side as reference, then that's okay. That's okay with you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like here to fail anyone on purpose. Okay, the course is very doable. This is the, what is it, the 6th time I teach this thing online, okay, and the class average has been, quite reasonable, right? in the low 70, mid 70. So that's pretty reasonable. And so, I don't want you to think this is impossible. Okay, it's definitely possible. What I'm saying is just do not go write a test without studying. Okay, don't try to wing it. You will almost always not do well. So that's that. Any questions before I talk about the lab? Did I go through everything yet? I think so. Oh, there's one more thing. Sorry. Textbook. There's no textbook in the course. Everything is self-contained. In the PowerPoints, you should be able to learn everything from the recordings and coming to the tutorials. Having said that, some people do like to have, some reference material to read through and whatnot. So in each of the lecture, there is a link to a supplementary reading, and it just takes you to like an online textbook. It's completely free, and the link from each of the folders will take you specifically to a section that is related to what you're learning that week. So this is talking about the scientific method and all that stuff. So if you need to read something about it, just makes you feel better, or if you want to have more background information, that's where you can get them. But as I said, they tend to have some extra information that you don't quite need. So all that extra information you will not be responsible for on the test, on the quiz, so on and so forth. Okay. In terms of the lab, they are virtual labs, and there are 2 labs that you have to do. For the first unit is the beetroot experiment, and you basically have to watch a video, and then you will have to answer some questions. Okay, so if this is like a in-person class, you would physically be doing the lab yourself, but it's an online class, so you will be watching someone else do the lab, and you would be making observations and answering questions. So you fill this document in, and then you hand it in to me. Okay, I will go through in detail what exactly you have to do later on when we get closer to the lab day. Okay, and for the second lab is microscopy lab. This one you would use a virtual microscope. And again, like in an in-person situation, you would be handling like a real microscope, but in a virtual environment, you will just be doing the simulation. Yes, Valerie, you have a question. Go ahead, please.
Hi, are we ever gonna have any in-person labs?
Nope, not for biology, not for chemistry either. Okay, everything, if it's an online course, is completely 100% online. Okay.
Okay, all right.
So you have the virtual microscope. You're gonna use this interactive app, I guess, for lack of a better word. Okay, and you will be tinkering with the microscope, and then there will be a lab that you have to fill in as well. Okay, I mean, feel free to look through them. No harm looking through it ahead of time, but I will go through it in more details with you as we approach the lab. Okay, like I'm actually gonna talk you through it and explain some of the things that people usually make mistakes on. For the most part, the labs, which is 10% each, right, is supposed to, it's meant to be easy grades for you to get, to kind of cushion your mark, to buffer your marks a little bit. As long as you do the work and don't leave it until the last minute, you should be okay. I think that's everything I wanted to tell you about the course. Are there any questions before I let you go? So like after we end today, right, after we say goodbye now, your job is to go watch the lecture recordings, right? Okay, there are 3 parts to it, and you really need to watch them before coming to the next class. Now, I know I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but it's very important that you watch these recordings. In the past, people just come to the tutorial, okay, and then they just not watch the recording at all. And as a result, they don't do very well, right? I just got a message from a student saying, how can I watch the lecture recordings? Okay, so like I said, you go to content, you click on lecture 1, and then you click on lecture recordings. And then here are the recordings. You just click into them, and then you click play. That's how you watch them. Okay. I'll post a direct link to these videos in the news after class as well. All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, we have to watch the 3 part.
That's right. That's right. So you watch all 3 parts, and you will watch them with the PowerPoint slide as well, right? Okay.
And the class today from 12:30 to 2:30, right?
So today is done, right? Today it's basically done, because every Monday you don't have to show up every Monday, right? Remember, Monday it's your time, your asynchronous time to watch these recordings, right? Okay.
Every Monday.
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, every Monday, same technique, like
Yeah, most of the time, except for sometimes like before a test, then we would have a synchronous class on Monday. But you can check on the schedule to see, okay? But for this week, for next week, you will watch the recordings. And again, you don't necessarily have to watch it on the Monday, right? Like if you're busy on Monday, you can watch it over the weekend. You can watch it anytime. These recordings are all available already, okay? Look at lecture 2, for example. If you click on lecture recordings, right, then you have 3 videos for lecture 2 again, right? So, if you want to go ahead and watch them ahead of time, that's okay as well. All right. So that's what asynchronous means. Okay. You work on your own time, your own schedule. Okay. And then on Wednesday, you come back to class here, and then we will do the practice questions. We'll take up the study guides, and I will answer any questions that you might have about the lecture. Okay.
That mean all the biology 1 classes on Monday will be asynchronous.
That's right. For the most part, I keep on saying that. Okay. Because
online.
Sorry?
Monday and Wednesday, and on Wednesday will be online.
And online, but then you come to like now, right? Like you would come to class now. Okay. So anytime you see red on the schedule, that means you have to show up physically. Okay.
And this schedule, please.
Where can you find this schedule? If you go back to the home page, weekly schedule.
Weekly schedule. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. All right. If there's anything else, please feel free to email me. Like I said, my email is right here. Other than that, I will see you all on Wednesday using the same Zoom link, okay, on Wednesday at 12:30. Okay. Thank you for coming, and welcome once again. You guys all have a good afternoon. See you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.